Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're wondering why I'm looking down, it's because I have my notebook down here because I have a couple pages of notes that I wrote down just so it's easier to remember what I'm talking about. So that being said, I decided for today's video I would talk about what it was really like to have a child young and what it's still like going on now because I'm 18 with a 1.5-year-old. And I just thought I'd make this video for the people who I get messages from every day saying, you know, I really want to have a kid and all that. And I know I've done something similar to this video, but not exactly the same. And I will link that video either up here or in the description box so that you can go and check that video out. And I also thought I would mention some advice for not only just teen parents but like new parents in general. So yeah, to start off, a lot of people will tell you that being a teen parent is fun and easy and you just enjoy every minute of it. They don't really mention the hard parts, and obviously on YouTube nobody shows the hard parts. I don't mention anything bad on my channel. I don't show when, you know, I have a breakdown because I'm stressed out, or you know, we're up late all night and I'm up first thing in the morning with my son and I don't sleep at night. I don't show my meltdowns then. I don't show my son having a meltdown because I didn't let him have that cookie before dinner. That's just things that YouTubers don't show, and a lot of them don't even really talk about it. So I thought I would, you know, talk about everything in general. So a lot of you who watch my videos know that I had my son Cameron at 16 years old. It was 2 months before I turned 17 because his birthday is in December and mine is in February. So I turned 17 2 months after he was born. My life experience has been nothing like what I was told from a lot of my teen parent friends, or like the show Teen Mom or 16 and Pregnant. It's really nothing like what you see on those shows, and that's what I'm trying to show everybody on here. It's not what they make it out to be, and for the ones who are saying they want to have a kid, you need to know what you're getting yourself into if you really do push yourself to go do it. So when I was in labor with my son, if you watched my labor and delivery video, I was in labor with him for 2 whole days. I wasn't dilated enough for the hospital to take me and let me be admitted, I guess is what you would call it. So I really didn't sleep at all for those 2 days before I went to the hospital. And even when I was at the hospital, I really didn't sleep that much because I had a new baby and I was super excited about it. I did sleep a little bit, obviously, because you can't really go 3 days without sleeping. And I am grateful for the time that I got to sleep when I was at the hospital and that Austin stayed up literally all night with Cameron. But it's exhausting. And even when I got home, I didn't really sleep that much for probably the whole first month because I was scared of things happening to him, or I just didn't want to sleep. For a big part of the time, I was really stressed out, and it wasn't because of having a new child, it was the stress of life. Before my son was born, his father and I had some issues going on in our relationship. We've clearly worked them out now and we're fine, but I think that played a huge role in my stress that I had going on. So after he was born, it still continued, but I tried to ignore it. Looking back now, I think I might have had a little bit of postpartum depression, and if you don't know what that is, then comment below and I'll either explain it to you or I'll make a whole separate video if someone wants me to explain it in another video. But I really think that I did have a little bit of it. I was in denial of it for a long time. A lot of people told me they thought that I did, but I really didn't. I thought it was just the past being more overwhelming because I just had a baby and everything else. It also didn't help that my son's father worked night shifts all the time, so he would pretty much sleep all evening, wake up for 12 o'clock and go to work at 1, and he wouldn't be back till 11 o'clock in the morning. So that left me at 17 years old with a newborn baby on my own. And it's just really overwhelming, and anyone who is a single parent would understand how overwhelming that is. And seriously, props to the single parents, because it is super overwhelming, and I am grateful to have that extra help during the day when I need it. So on the note of my relationship, now that we're talking about that, babies tend to either make your relationship better or they break a relationship. And by that I mean the stress is a lot to handle. So usually if you're a teenager with a child, most teens I know anyways, end up planning their child because they don't want their boyfriend to break up with them, or because they think their boyfriend is going to leave. Let me tell you, if he wants to leave, he will leave. And I have a long story I could tell about how I know this. But also having a child makes things more stressful. So if he gets too stressed out because of having to deal with you and dealing with a crying baby, he's just going to leave. And I don't mean leave the baby, I mean leave you. And if he wants to leave, he's going to leave no matter what happens, whether you have a child involved or not. Having a baby definitely put a huge strain on our relationship, and I think that's the main thing when it comes to relationships. They really do either make or break you. One of the huge positives I know there is to having a child this young, and this is going to be funny, but I always think about the fact that I'm going to be 30 years old with a teenager, while all my friends are going to be 30 years old with a newborn. And it's kind of funny to think about, but at the same time, I feel like when I'm that age and I have a teenager, I'm going to see everyone else with babies, and I'm going to be like, wow, I wish I would have waited. But I guess it really depends on what happens then. On the note of planning a child young, I just want to clarify that honestly it really isn't worth it not to plan a child young anyway. The life experiences you miss out on because of having a child, obviously you learn more things from having a child and you gain life experiences, but having a child as a teenager, you also miss out on regular high school, and from what I've been told, it really screws you up when it comes to going to college and getting jobs and stuff, because you pretty much have to tell them, instead of going to high school, you stay at home with your child. And a lot of people look at you funny. Like, even now, when Austin and I go look at places and I tell them I'm still doing my school, most of the time they think we're older because, one, we have a child, but then when I mention I'm in school and they ask if I'm in college and I tell them I'm still doing my high school, they really get, like, turned off with that fact, and it does really suck. And if you're a teen mom, then you understand what I'm talking about. If I could go back in time, I'm not saying I don't love my son, I do love him, but I would have waited, honestly, I would have waited. Obviously now I am 18 years old with a 15-month-old toddler, working my way through school. Hopefully I'm going to finish school by February of next year, and I'm looking to go to college for an early childhood educator, hopefully not this September, but next September after I graduate high school. Cross your fingers for me, because I really hope that I do. I do not want to be that stereotypical mom that sits on Ontario Works Forever or like your welfare, whatever, wherever you are, and just keeps having another child every once in a while. No, I'm not judging the ones that do that. I know some people it's your only option or it's your life choice, but that is not the life that I want to live. I plan on making a better future for my child, and that's why I haven't given up on my education. Mine and Austin's goal together is to make sure that our son has the best future he possibly can. A few people I know have mentioned on my channel that I'm only doing YouTube because I want the money from it, but no, honestly I'm not being paid to post these videos. I just do it to help other girls my age know what they're getting themselves into and how hard it really isn't, or it really is, I mean. And I also wanted to defeat the stereotype of being a teen mom, because I know a lot of people make it out to be like, you know, teen moms have kids because they don't want to get a job, they don't want to finish school, they just want to be able to sit at home all day, and that's really not how it is. I know there's a handful of moms that do that, but there's a good selection of us who don't do those things. So with all of that being said, I wanted to leave 10 things I wish I knew before having my son for the people who are about to have their baby, and I just thought maybe this could help you. So number one is don't listen to anyone when it comes to them giving you advice. Like people who tell you don't give your baby a blanket to sleep with, don't co-sleep, don't formula feed, you know, like those things you're going to be told all the time. The best advice I can give you is to not listen to them. Obviously take it in and, you know, nod your head to everything they're saying and take in the things that are important. But every parent will do their own thing, their own way, and just because someone else doesn't think it's okay doesn't mean that it's not okay. The next piece of advice I have is to get on a schedule. That was the worst thing I could have done for myself when I wasn't on a schedule. For the first 6 months of Cameron's life, it was kind of just go with the flow, and I really regret doing that. He is on a perfect schedule now, and I love being able to have a little bit of free time here and then, and to have him in bed at a certain time and know when he's going to be up. Being on a schedule makes your life so much easier. Number 3 is make sure to take time for yourself. That is one thing that I never did in the first year of Cameron's life, really, was take time for myself. The one big thing I did to take time for myself was to go on a trip to New Brunswick with Austin last summer. So Cameron was around 8 months old. This was the first real time that I took a good chunk of time for myself. And let me tell you, it changed everything. I managed to catch up on my sleep, and it just made our life so much easier. We came back, and that was when we got Cameron on a routine, because we had actually slept on a normal routine when we were there. So it wasn't as hard to get him onto a routine when we came back. So just make sure you take time for yourself, even if it's going up on a dinner date with your boyfriend, or going to the salon and getting your nails done, or ask someone to babysit you so you can have a nap. Honestly, just take time for yourself. It is really important. You can't take care of a baby if you don't take care of yourself, and that is one of the big things that I've learned throughout this experience. Number 4 is let your child discover who they are on their own. I've seen a lot of people pressure their child into, you know, I don't know, liking a specific thing or going to specific places. I think you should let your child explore who they are on their own, and that is a really important part of raising a child. Number 5 is expect the unexpected. Obviously, with a child, you're going to already expect the unexpected if you didn't plan on having a child as a teenager. But there are a lot of things that you should really, like, you won't expect, but they will happen. Like, you probably don't expect your child to have a very bad diaper and get it all up their clothes. Trust me, it's going to happen. Maybe your child will fall off the bed. Obviously, you're not going to expect that, and it's going to come, like, as a wave when it hits you. But it happens, and everyone goes through it. They're things that everybody has happened to them, so just expect the unexpected with your child. Number 6 is make lots of room. So that is one thing that we didn't really see until we started actually, like, getting everything together closer to when my son was born. You really do need lots of room, like, not just sharing your room with your child. Like, they're going to need their own room of stuff because there is so much stuff you need for a baby. So just make lots of room for your child. Number 7 is really important. Make lots of memories with your child. Even though you're young, the memories are still going to matter to them. You can take as many pictures as you want. You can do, you know, you can sit around and watch TV if you want to, but get yourself out and make memories with your child. Even just coloring with them or baking something, those are memories that you'll be able to look back on with your child. Later on, you will definitely wish you could go back. Like, even right now, I wish I could go back to when Cameron was a little bit smaller. But I'm also excited for what we have to come with him getting older and starting to walk and talk and being able to take him out to more places. Number 9 is don't be hard on yourself. So I know a lot of parents are like, talking about themselves, saying I'm a bad parent or I don't know what I'm doing. No one really knows what they're doing, so don't be hard on yourself for it. You will learn as you go. And the very last one, the one you really can't prepare for, is the amount of love you're about to get from your child. Prepare yourself for, well, you can't really prepare yourself, I guess that's what I just said. Be ready for an amount of love that you won't even know what it is until you see that child for the first time. I promise you, it is the greatest thing you will ever feel. And aside from everything that I just mentioned and everything I've talked about in this video, I promise you that will make every single minute of your life worth it. So with those 10 pieces of advice I have, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and that the things I've said in this video have really helped other people. And I guess we'll see you in our next video. Thanks for watching.